Hello and welcome to episode 49 of the Isla Paradiso bunch. We've still got Hayley, Josephine, Judy, Jeannie, Sam, Diana, Craig and Muriel in Egypt. However, their time there is getting short. Craig has just finished his adventure and he has delivered some shawarma and now he's got the third relic. That meal was scrumptious. You've earned the information you seek. You must go to the Great Pyramid to find the relic of eternity. You may want to pack extra food and supplies. So, the Great Pyramid, there we go, there it is, and he is going there now, and it will take all of this episode, and I think possibly some of the next episode, to get through it. It's a big tomb. So Craig is setting off for the Great Pyramid, where he's going to search for the relic of eternity. I do believe he may have taken Muriel with him. Yes. So he's going to seek her assistance because she needs to be kept out of the sun. She already has a serious sunburn, and in the earlier episode she has been self-combusting, catching on fire all by herself from being out in the sun. Continually, over and over again. So we're going to try to stop that from happening in this episode, but she seems to be quite determined that she's not going in out of the sun. She wants to go and stand in the sun. I suppose she's still got some shower in a can left in her inventory, and until that's all gone she'll be wanting to combust. They tend to do that sort of thing. If you've got a sim with shower in a can in the inventory and they stand in a fire trap, they'll generally stay in it until they've used up all of their shower in a can, and then suddenly they'll mysteriously be able to get out of it. Well, come on, Craig, go through that back door. You need to get into this pyramid, it's huge. So, I have spent quite a lot of time in this room at various times, and I've come to the conclusion that there's only two pushable statues and a hidden door. So there we've revealed a hole in the floor. And Muriel can push that other statue. Now, the way I did that with timing, I'm not sure exactly which event opened those hidden doors at the back. It's either the pushing of the statue or the hole in the floor having a switch, but I think it might have been the pushing the statue. The only door in that particular room that you can leave from is the one on the left of the screen at the moment. The one that Muriel is going through. Someone's going to have to come back into this room to get the hidden door. You'll probably find that I have skipped over collecting some of the relics. If they had the Eye of Horus in one of the inventories, we'd quickly find everything. But I was also in a bit of a hurry. That's my excuse anyway, I'm sticking to it. I was trying to get them through it quickly. So that hidden door is very helpful because Craig needs to get that star keystone that is on the floor in front of that mat, which is also in front of a hidden door. And the only way to get it without going through this door he's just found is to try to go through those fire traps, which is not always very pleasant. Fortunately, there's two hidden doors just there, and he's opened both of them. You can grab that keystone, and then go up the back. There's another keystone, and some ancient coins, and a hole in the wall. He's triggered that fire trap. I bet he can't put it out or cross it either. Bugs. So that put out the fire trap. Excellent. Now he needs to use one of those star keystones on that door that Muriel is waiting at to get through. So Muriel must need a sleep. Let's get her sleeping while Craig does the adventuring for the time being. Hopefully Muriel will stay put. There is a plan here. Because this tomb is so large, I want to get them through it quickly as possible. So having Muriel sleeping in her tent while Craig adventures, when Craig needs a sleep, I'll be able to have Muriel awake and Craig sleeping in his tent, and while Craig's sleeping, Muriel can work on the adventure, continue it going, so we don't have to lose time, because they're running out of time here in Egypt, and Craig still needs to get cured from the mummy's curse. I don't want to send him home and have to wait a couple of days before he can come back to get cured, because I probably won't want to come straight back to Egypt. I might, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So there's some rubble piles to get rid of over there, and a spot for a pushable statue to be placed on. And there's a pushable statue. Just got to make room for it to get through that gap in the fence. Pull it a long way, Craig. And there's a room there with a hidden door in it that he can find. Looks like that might have revealed the steps. Yes. That's why we had a little pause getting those steps to appear. Just a little treasure in here, but it's worth going in for it. Money bag. We'll get him to mourn at these tombstones. I don't think they do anything for him, but it's good to keep in the habit of mourning at tombstones. It slows you down a little bit, but you do find rather a lot that you would have missed out on otherwise, because some tombstones are very revealing. So she's still in the tent, and we better go back and get that. Oh, there's a hidden door just there that he's missed. Go back and do that. Try to complete this level as much as possible at this point. I think he's got Pangu's axe. Yes, he has, because he's been smashing the rubble piles with it. So, because there's a part of this tomb that you need the axe to get into. I don't often do it, but I think I do it in this episode. Some ancient coins. Yeah, let's go back and get that hidden door we missed. So what's in there? Looks like a money bag. There's no way into that other little dark area. That would be nice if there was. That's the thing about this tomb, not all of the dark areas will open up. So you're never sure if you've missed something. And of course, also some of the hidden doors, a lot of the hidden doors, in fact, you can't just find them. You have to do something to trigger them to open themselves. Now, there's a tombstone in this room that does have an effect if you mourn it. So he's going to mourn them all. I think there's only one of the two big ones at the near the back wall, near the bottom of the screen, that actually does something. So that one there has revealed a hole in the wall. There's also a hidden door in this room, but he's got to find that himself. The sarcophagus with the rubble pile all around it. Let's hope there's no mummy in there, because the door shuts behind him. He's got to struggle to get out of this little room. He escaped. No mummy. That was safe. So now he can go back into that room where the steps are and negotiate the steps. I often get confused between this tomb and the one he just finished, the Tomb of the Desert Ocean. It's two different pyramids, but both of them, the adventures are so long that I tend to get a little bit mixed up sometimes as to which tomb does what before I get into them. Once I get into them, I'm okay. Now it's critical that you do this particular hole in the wall first. Otherwise you're going to spend a lot of time disarming traps. Always go for the green light. It'd be a bit sad for people who can't tell the difference between red and green, because in some of these adventures you need to know the difference, because they have a green light and a red light, and if you can just see a light, it's not going to be very helpful. You won't get the clues. That's a green light. That's in that bottom right hand corner now. Now I think there might be a hidden door in this room too. But we'll have a look and see if we can find one. Yes, there's one there. She's awake. Better get her under control or she'll be out in the sun again. I think she might have lost a sunburn. It's funny that with Sims, for the passage of very short time, like one day, they're no longer red raw with sunburn. You'd think that they'd go through a phase of peeling and agony, but they don't. Keep them out of the sun for a whole Sim day and they're fine. Which makes it hard to get that badge for being suntanned for 3 days in a row. I did get it recently, but I had to use the tanning booth to do it, and it took me quite a lot of Sim days to keep her, even with a tanning booth, to keep my Sim tanned for 3 consecutive days. Because that tanning booth plays up sometimes. Doesn't always work as expected. So we've got to guide 2 Sims through until Craig gets tired, and then he can put his tent up and we'll just use Muriel. Muriel must have been hungry. She's into the dried food. There's a pushable statue there. Craig can pull it. There's a little bit of toing and froing here, a bit of a puzzle to work out to get to the next part of the tomb. Because this pushable statue won't go easily to where you want it to be, where it needs to be. And Muriel might as well go and push that other statue, just on the other side of the room. See, it's the red statues that are pushable, or the dark brown statues, depending on how you look at it. It's actually statues that are a mottled colour of red and black. So that will let Craig through. She needs to put that statue on that floor plate. She can get it on there without getting rid of any more of the fire. Craig's getting sleepy. Come on, Muriel, get that onto the floor plate. Another floor plate. So Craig is going to have to put out some fire to get his statue on that floor plate. That's easier said than done from this position. I'll need to put out that fire. Come on, keep going, Craig. Push it one more time. Now put it on the floor plate. You can have a sleep soon. Stand on that floor plate. Okay, you can get out of that door now. It's the only door that can get through at the moment. I think there's a hidden door behind. We might get Muriel to deal with that. Craig's getting a bit tired for hidden doors. Okay, Craig, you can go to sleep there. We'll have to give Muriel the axe as well, I think, so she can smash those rubble piles that she comes across. Because Craig doesn't need it in his inventory while he's sleeping. That was a star keystone she just collected then. Now, there are some urns down the end of the room here, the end of the hallway. And if you happen to mourn at the right one, you don't need to use your star keystone to get into the next bit of the tomb. So that's the door that the star keystone opens. And she's got a treasure. Possibly a piece of food. Ah, I think we'll send her back there to get that door, just to clear the next bit of the process. And then she'll have to go, yeah, well, she's got to go back and collect that money bag that she ran straight past. And then go and clear that rubble pile. Give her the axe. So there's two ways into this final room here. You can either mourn at the urn or three ways really: more of the urn, use your keystone, which I wanted to keep, or clear the rubble pile. So the only one of the three I didn't do was the keystone. I wanted to keep that keystone. So you might need it somewhere else and you might be able to find one. There are actually fire traps in those red squares that she's walked around. Didn't want to set them off. I've discovered that if necessary, a sim can easily cross that fire trap that just got lit behind her when she stood on that floor switch. Otherwise it's apparent that you can't get through. But it doesn't really matter. Craig doesn't need to come into this room because she will advance the game far enough that he can get into the bits that he needs to get into further on when he wakes up. But if you were using two sims together, you'd need to bring your second sim through, or they'd have to attempt to cross that fire trap. And I have successfully attempted to cross that fire trap a few times. So there's a floor switch, and there's a pushable statue to go on it. Just got to work out how to get it out of that spot that it's hiding in, because it is the only statue you can move in that area, in that group. The others are just sitting there and you can't do anything with them. I did mess this up a bit. She had to push it around in circles a bit because I mistimed a few things. Yeah, she needs to pull it one more time, but she doesn't. So she pushes it one more time, so she's got to pull it back again. Push it one. And then you can push it onto the floor switch, which will unlock something for sure. Yep, there it is. That door is unlocked, and so is that other one. Now that's critical because there's a set of steps in that room and you need them to go down to the next level. However, I'm not going to do that because there's a hidden door behind her which will take us into some interesting places. Just a short detour. But she might as well do it because Craig is sleeping in his tent. At this point, if you were doing it with just one sim, you'd be sitting waiting for them to wake up. So I figure, since we're using two sims alternately while they sleep at different times, we can actually afford a few little side adventures. This is one room where you need to flush the toilet. And the only way to flush the toilet is to use it. So she'll use it, flush, and then she reveals a hole in the floor where she finds something. Sometimes it's something big and sometimes it's something small. I think this time it was something small. A money bag. But of course if your sims are short of money, that would be very useful. Another money bag. She's going through the wall there. Set off that steam trap, which she ran straight through. It's easy to get around it though. Now there's a couple of little niches there where she can collect some treasure. There's a set of steps up and a set of steps down. We'll go down the steps just to see what is there, because she can't actually do anything but have a look around. So that is a door that is chained shut, and you have to complete another part of the adventure to get that door open. And it actually opens from the other side. So up the steps we go. And she's come back now so she can go through that door on the left to collect the treasures. Oh, she's going back down the steps. Not quite sure why she did that. Oh, she wants to go back this way. She must be waiting for Craig to wake up or something. Craig's awake and he can take over the adventure now. Yes, that door, if she'd gone through that door, it would have had her back at the entrance to the tomb. That looks like it's a moon-cut gem. Craig is going to collect it and continue on with his adventure. I think one of these statues is pushable. He's going to pull it and reveal a hole in the wall. It's getting close to the end of the video now. He's not going to actually complete this tomb in this video. So he's found a couple of hidden doors that the switch that he just flicked in that hole in the wall revealed for him. Now, I often find dried food scattered around on the floor in these two rooms, but on this occasion I was only able to find one piece. It could be that I was in too much of a hurry and didn't look properly, or it could be that there was only one piece in here. It's fairly hard to find because it's a dark tile and the food is very tiny and it is dark. I usually get him to mourn the gravestone. There's a piece of food. That's the one that he found. See how hard it is to see? So he's going to go back up those steps. It's come to the part of there. Well, that's where the door that Muriel was going to go through, and she didn't. She went down the steps instead. So now he's going to go through this other door, which is on the other side of the room. She had her back to this door when we were looking at her before. He's going to use the axe. I don't usually go in here because I don't usually have the axe. So this is really just a side adventure to get a bit of treasure, which is probably not going to be worth it. So if you don't have the axe, it doesn't matter. You can still do this tomb. And you can always come back here again later on when you do have the axe if you want to complete the tomb and find the treasure. I think I might have completely ignored that treasure chest as well as the little fossilised apple over on that pedestal on the left. But that doesn't really matter. So when he pulled that pushable statue onto that floor switch, he managed to turn on an electric trap, a floor trap. And now he's got two of them going. So let's push that statue back to where it came from because he can't do anything else with it. And push this statue across onto that trap to put it out. Or really just to get the statue out of the way. You don't need to put it on the trap, you don't need to put it out. But we might as well since we're here. Then he can go through that door. Clear the sarcophagus, all that rubble around that sarcophagus. And I hope there's no mummy in it. We don't want him to get into another mummy fight just yet, or else I don't. It doesn't really matter. I think he'd still survive if he had one. It's just that he's already been cursed. As you can see through that wall beside him, that's that hallway that he first went through when he first got entry to the tomb. Finding a hidden door there. It's coming very close to the end of this video. There's some rubble piles for him to clear. Find some treasure. bag. And up the steps. I'll have to get to work on the next episode shortly, so that you can see him complete the tomb and find the treasure, find the relic that he's looking for. Yeah, well, at the end of this hallway there is a hole in the floor which will open a hidden door onto a part of the tomb that I'm not going to take him into at this point. I'll bring another sim back in here later to do this bit, because there's some treasure to find, but there's also a few mummies to fight. So, Muriel's going to have another sleep. And that's the end of the video. So, I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you soon in the next episode. Bye bye for now.